This is an ABP Life podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Ladies First on ABP Live podcasts. I am your host Niharika Nanda, and in this podcast we talk to some of the women of the 21st century who are making a mark in the society, who are bringing about the change that we all women want to see. And one such beautiful woman who is with me today is Miss Ritika Mitra. Hello ma'am, welcome to Ladies First.
So happy to be here. Thanks so much.
All my pleasure to have you here. From being a homemaker to becoming a culinary expert and being recognized by Master Chef Ranveer Brar as a master food presenter, you have come a long way. So let's begin from the very beginning.
Sure.
How has the journey been?
Oh, it's been quite a lot, you know. I'll start with my journey absolutely when I was young, small, as a child. I think I go back all the way back to a joint family, being from a joint family, being raised and in a sink in the kitchen.
Right.
You know, my aunt, my grandmother, my mother, they used to cook in the kitchen, and they used to call me, you know, and they used to say, okay, do you want to learn? You want to, you know, taste?
Right.
And
Very
how's
Indian
it coming?
household.
A very Indian household. The men of the house used to go every day to
Right.
the market to, you know, for the fresh produce.
Right.
In those days, we didn't have any refrigerator. So we had this very interesting thing called jalti, where it was like a wire mesh cabinet. And the legs of those were dipped in water, bowls of water, so that ants cannot make it all the way to
to the top, and where the food is.
Yeah, and that was the refrigerator. And it was a very small one. So all the way back there, I still remember when I used to go for the kitchen, now that I think about it, and all the goodies that used to be churned. The aromas, the magical anecdotes which went when they were cooking, and they used to tell me, they shared, you know. When I was in my mid-teens maybe, then I started cooking for various, various like guests coming in, those like, you know, some desserts, fancy desserts of course, or fancy things like stroganoff, chicken forester during the teens.
Wow.
But it was like very nice because I used to love doing that, and I had my sister to kind of, you know, be with. So my sister used to cook something, I used to cook something else, but in the process somewhere I think she gave it up and I continued. I think that was the only difference in the path.
Right.
I was always a foodie. I realized that at that point of time. And once I crossed my college days, I was into my college days, a very close friend of mine came up and she said, I want you to, you know, be featured in the Bengali magazine called Shananda, which is also still is a ABP group journal. In those days, it was edited by none other than Aparna Sen.
Right.
So I think all my recipes went down very well with the readers.
From being a guest writer to being a regular on the magazine.
Then I went. I was like, they approached me again and again, and I said, no, I need to study. I have my exams. I have my part 1 coming up or part 2, whatever. So, but I still made it because it was a passion to me. And my parents never stopped me. They said, okay, you get the grades. We have no issues. You do this.
You keep on doing this, right?
Yes. And I'll share another small thing in this one. You will not beat this. So during all those photo sessions, there used to be at least maybe 2 or 3 of my friends, the cook kinds of friends, but foodie friends, who used to wait very patiently for all the
for everything to be done so that they can eat it.
They used to really not eat it, they used to attack it.
Oh, I think that is very obvious. I mean, friends attacking your food, that's very normal. That is how sort of your passion became your profession.
Totally. And of course, later on I got married, we moved all over the place. But I never gave it up because it was a passion.
Right.
I never felt I'm doing anything. It just came from within.
Right.
Yeah, the happiness, the joy.
And such a beautiful thing how life comes a full circle. Your first publication was with ABP, and today you are on ABP Live
I'm
podcast.
quite amazed. It's like
Right.
it's just destiny. I feel, when I got to know about it, I said like, the first thing I called that friend of mine. So can you beat it? I mean,
Right.
I was like, it was very uncanny.
Absolutely, it is. It is. So, talking a little about food, what is food for you?
Food is definitely love for me. I can dream about it day in and day out.
That makes two of us.
You will not believe it. It's one of the first thing I get up these days in the morning and I think, okay, today I'm going to make this. In the morning, it's like, like I know this is what I'm going to do today. So I go to the refrigerator, I figure out whether I have it or not. If I don't, I make a list and I
Right.
send the person across, get these.
To get all the ingredients.
Yes.
Right.
And then by 10:30, I'm at it.
Already, wow.
And it's like once, but there is a process, I'll be honest with you. It's just not getting the stuff ready or cooking. It's like you're getting the food when it's ready. It's just one part of the deal.
Absolutely.
It's just one part of the deal, with a lot of people don't understand. Because I take my own pictures, I do my own presentation.
Right.
So that the next process is much more time consuming. I won't say tedious because I don't feel it. Because when I'm into that job, I don't think even I feel anybody around me, even if
Right.
they are around me. I just don't. I don't know.
That is
I'm in
not something that is of botheration to you.
Yes, I'm in a different space completely. I can understand that by now.
Right.
So it's like I take a long time to do the layout, the decorations, the garnishing, and the lighting. The light has to be good and
Absolutely
everything perfect.
Right.
Because I can work on the pictures if the picture is of a good quality.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't, if you have an inferior quality picture, you can't do much
You
about
can't
it
work
anyways.
around it. Absolutely.
So that's how it goes, like it's, but the whole process, I just love it. And every day I look forward to it almost,
Right. Because I think when you're doing something that you love, work doesn't feel exhausting or tedious, as you said.
Yeah,
And ma'am, tell me this, like we live in India, the first thing that, comes to anyone's mind whenever we say that, she is a homemaker is khana banana aata hoga. But you took it to an absolutely different level. Yes, you are a homemaker, a proud one at
I am
that.
very happy. Yes.
And you also created a career and became a culinary expert of the day. So how does that feel?
See, before I start, I would not have had it any other way in my life. I'm very happy because as a homemaker, I could give my family support they needed, because with each move, it's been very painful for my son.
Right.
Different culture, different schools. And I'm happy that I gave my son that time. I was with him, because later on, at this point of time, he's not with us. He's like in a different country, studying, working. The connect is very good with us. The bonding is very
Right.
good. I don't think it would have happened if I was
Probably not at home, or probably working
probably
24
working.
by 7.
Yeah.
Right.
And it would have been maybe harder for him to adapt to new countries and new languages and cultures for him. Anyway, it was hard. It would have been
Right.
harder. Let's say put.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But so, and as such, I'm happy, proud to be a homemaker. And yes, as you said, in the process of my journey, I realized that, like how to adapt and make the most of the situation, the best of the situation, let's say.
Right.
So I realized, like, okay, since we are traveling from one place to the other, let me do what I'm best at. Let me go to learn the local cuisine, the street foods, local cuisine, whatever they were.
Right.
And it was a process I began and I fell in love with. And I used to look forward to the next.
Right.
It became like that. And
Right.
like after every 3 years, like I used to tell my husband, Kaushik, like,
Where are we going now?
Yes. And he's like, okay, the transfers yet are coming up. Like, hold your horses.
But you were already.
Yes, I'm
Right.
like ready to move on now.
So travel and food have a very strong connection.
Yes.
So what is that one thing, or maybe a couple of things, that you learned about food while traveling from one place to the other?
Good question. See, when you're traveling, let's speak about India itself.
Right.
India is very varied. Even one such, let's say, a very simple thing, let's say a dish like payas, kheer. We will call kheer, some will call payasam, whatever.
Right.
That one thing which is so simple, it's made of milk and rice, can be cooked in different ways.
Different ways, and it is cooked in different ways
It
across
is,
India.
it is. So it is like as simple as that. Then you know, if you are from one region of the country, when I was born and brought up in Calcutta, I could never ever fathom there was any way you could cook a kheer in a different
way, right.
Yeah, I could have never even imagined that. So I'm just giving you one very, very basic
example.
So there are lots, whether you call, you know, even let's say a khichdi. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it can be cooked in different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, different occasions or different parts of the country, you know.
Recently at Durga Puja, I had the Bengali version of khichdi.
Yeah.
That is khichdi.
Khichdi. Yeah,
at the bhog, and it is so different from the
It
khichdi
is.
that my mother makes at home.
It has to be. So India is amazing that way. So beyond India, you can imagine when
The kind of differentiation that there might be.
Yeah, there is. You know, like when we went to Hong Kong and Vietnam. Vietnam was the first stop. Then we moved to Hong Kong.
Okay.
Vietnam, we went after a gap of almost like a stint was 4 years here,
Okay.
and then we moved. So we've been coming in and out of Gurgaon continuously.
Okay, right.
So this is our third stint.
Okay.
In between, there's been a lot of chaos in our life.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
The good kind of chaos.
Yeah, good kind of chaos. I
Right.
agree, totally. So something which I look forward to also. So Vietnam, when I went, I still remember, I was very skeptical. I mean, you know, I've heard of nasty things they eat. And I was like not eager to taste the
lot
local
of
cuisine
things, right.
but you will not believe it, I was so surprised and we got hooked onto it so easily. By the time we were coming back, I said, no, I can't give up on the cuisine, so let me learn.
Right.
So I took up cookery classes and lessons. The last 1 or 2 months, I went to a couple of these cookery classes just to pick it up.
Right.
And they're so flavorful. They don't have anything fried.
Right.
Nothing fried. No deep fried. Maximum pan fried or shallow fried. And there is a combination of like different sauces and mostly herbs.
Right.
That's it. So of course the herbs you can't get it here, unfortunately.
Obviously, because there's a difference
Yes, but the rest I try to balance and use our kind of
ingredients and make it an Indian version of that kind
because
of
you
cuisine.
have to do that. You have to
Adapt it according to where you are traveling to.
Totally.
And amongst all your travels, you've been to Ho Chi Minh City, you've traveled to Dubai and so many places within India as well.
Yeah.
Any one culinary experience of yours that you just loved, or any one dish that you can just never forget?
That's a good one. Now I have to think about that. One dish is going to be a tough one for me.
I can understand.
So we were in Chennai, I still remember. My son was very, very small at that time. So when we went to Chennai, we were like focusing only on like Murugan idli. I love Murugan idli. And having said, I just love it. And maybe Saravanan Bhavan. So our first time we went to a place called Karaikudi.
Okay.
It's a chain kind of a restaurant there. We were like blown literally with the flavors and the non-vegetarian factor.
Okay.
I mean that a South Indian food can be, non-vegetarian also.
Of course.
And I'm talking this way back. When was that? 2005 I'm talking about.
Okay.
So at least I was not so open to the world then. I didn't know what it was. And so it was like amazing. And we started frequenting Karaikudi quite often, very much. And then I realized, I slowly came up with this, like a relation kind of a thing, a bond with one of the chef. And I asked him, I literally asked him when the move came.
Right.
We were moving to Dubai, I remember at that time.
Okay.
I said, chef, can you please, teach me this? So he was obviously like, oh, why would you want to,
Right.
you can eat it off the shelf, you come here and eat. I said, no,
Right.
we're relocating. And this guy was so sweet. He actually took me, under his wing. He took me to the kitchen and he actually taught me the chettinad.
Okay, wow.
Chicken, yeah. And I was really like, it was such an experience of a lifetime.
Absolutely.
It was really, really nice. I mean, God bless him. Of course, I don't have any connect with him right now,
But you still remember it since so long.
I do. And it was like such a beautiful experience and a very precious experience in my life. I couldn't imagine that the chef himself will say yes.
Yes, that he will teach
And
you.
open the
That's
doors
amazing.
to, like you come and see and learn.
That's his space. He didn't had to, but he still did.
Exactly. And I was like, wow. Like,
That's amazing.
I mean, such people also happen, And
Right.
I have taken the chettinad, chicken in my, in
Travels
my
across the
travels
world.
across, but I
Right.
modified it a bit, a little
Absolutely.
bit, as I always do.
I mean, you are a culinary expert yourself. You are allowed to, and you're bound to do that.
Yeah, I feel happy to do it.
Right.
Let's give that touch.
Adding a Ritika touch to
Yeah,
it.
even I did the same with that one thing I do very frequently when friends come in, because that's the request from my friends, and they cannot have it. I cannot send. How to put it? If they want.
If they wanted, then
wanted.
you have to make it for
Yeah,
them.
because I
Right.
have to, because I can't even send it to them in parcel it up, because it'll go all bad.
Right,
This is the
exactly.
Vietnamese spring rolls.
Okay.
The fresh spring rolls I'm talking about. Now the fresh spring rolls, typically in Vietnam, they are not, it's like you cut it in juliennes and then you're rolling it up in various ways. Okay.
Right.
And that's the flavor, you dip it in the dipping sauce and that's how it is
That's
had.
it. They are not fried.
They are
like
not fried.
Unlike the spring rolls that we know in India.
No, they're not fried. That's why they call them fresh spring rolls. They're absolutely freshly made,
Right.
and absolutely no fried at all. So now, if you have the same spring rolls served to an Indian, they might turn around and say like, "It's good, but I was expecting something better,"
Ah, right.
because a lack of flavor blast. Let's put it
Right,
that way.
that's
It needs
true.
some flavors.
And plus, we are accustomed to having those fried, spicy spring rolls,
Yes.
as we've seen, in the Desi Chinese
Yes,
version of it.
absolutely. So what I've done when my friends do come and ask for that spring roll, the fresh ones, I actually pickle those juliennes in like a fish sauce, a little bit of vinegar and some salt and not salt, sugar and water for maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes,
Right.
so that they absorb.
There's a flavor.
Yeah, some
Right.
flavor.
Right.
And when I make those spring rolls, they are widely appreciated. But I have a feeling, I'm almost certain, the original ones would not have been appreciated so much by
Right.
the Indian taste.
Exactly, because it's a different kind of taste culture, we can say. A fooding culture is very different
So
amongst
true.
the two countries.
So true.
There's bound to be some
So true,
differentiation.
so true. Absolutely.
You also received the Master Food Presenter Award
That was quite a shock.
by the amazing Master
That was
Chef
quite a
Ranveer
shock
Brar.
myself.
How was that like?
It was like quite bizarre. It was 2020, and I was taking these photo shoots for my blog and uploading. When suddenly I came up with this, I think it was on the Facebook. I'm not sure where. I saw this competition kind of thing coming up, and I said, okay, chalo. And we were supposed to give 3 pictures.
Okay.
So I immediately chose and sent 3 of them.
Right.
And I forgot all about it, literally all about it, and I was happily into my
Right.
work and and lots to do in 2020 if you have a house full of
course.
people.
Right.
So I was totally occupied. Then one day, I still remember I did finish my photo shoot, and typically my photo shoots usually went over 4:30 often.
Okay.
Because if I don't get my shoots well, I just
Right.
go on,
Right.
literally.
You're a perfectionist then.
Yeah, so and I'm there, and I drive my people mad because they're waiting for the food. I'm like, okay, it's coming.
Right. It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. So I drive them quite crazy. So that day, I still remember I crossed 4 p.m. Maybe it was 4:15, 4:30. I don't remember. I get this call, unknown number. So I was about to say, I don't, who are you and whatever.
Right.
So the person next, whoever was on the other side, said like, ma'am, you've been chosen the Master Food Presenter by Ranveer Brar. So I was about to say like, what nonsense. I mean, I don't
Right.
think, I mean,
You feel like it's a fraud call.
it's a total fraud, like
Right.
completely fraud. And by the time it made sense, I said like, I don't have time to get ready. Do you know what you're talking about? You're
Right.
saying in the next 15 minutes I have to come online. I mean, do you know what a mess I am right
Wow.
now? Why
Yikes.
couldn't you call before?
Right.
Like I was like blasting the person on the other side. Why couldn't you call me before? I mean, give me time. Like you have no idea what
Right.
what a mess I am. So in another 15 minutes, somehow I get ready and sit and it was a Zoom kind of a thing.
Right.
And it was such an amazing experience to see the Ranbir Barar, announcing your name and, introducing. And we interacted, of course, it was a Zoom meet kind of a thing.
Because we're talking about 2020. Right.
2020 and
mid-pandemic.
Absolutely mid-pandemic. So, but it was amazing. The whole experience, even till now, gives me goosebumps. When I think about it. I mean, how did it all happen? It's like dream.
It is. I mean, even I have, this dream of meeting Mr. Ranbir Brar one day, but you got to do it. So kudos to you. And it's all your food and all your work that you have put into your food that has brought you here.
It's the love, maybe, and the dedication, which I guess.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, but I love it. I just.
You deserved it. I mean, it's been years since you've been publishing your recipes, not just in Indian magazines, but also global magazines. You've been working so hard for it. It is all that you deserve, and more.
I've been very lucky with that. I've been really, even like, as you said, in Hong Kong, our stint was very short, very short. We were hardly there for a year and a half. And there was this ladies' magazine, women's magazine called Coherence. And they came up, it's like, why don't you, you have to.
Right.
So there was one time and a second time. You will not believe it. It was very interesting. The day we were leaving, the packers came, they packed. We moved to the hotel. We were catching the flight out the next day.
Right.
And here I go for a kind of award kind of a ceremony.
Right.
I mean, held by the Coherence magazine group people. And my husband is saying, are you like, what's happening? Like, I mean,
are you a celebrity?
We're boarding the flight, Like, are you serious? You really want to go for that? I said, yeah, of course, they have called me and I want to do this. Yeah, so I think it was just like a couple of hours before the flight. I went there and took, it was just a nice small kind of a ceremony, but I loved it.
It was worth it.
It was worth, and these are the milestones, these are the memories. I mean, life, you need those to keep you going. Those are the landmarks.
Absolutely.
And those memories, I still carry those memories with me.
Those are some of the best experiences of your life.
Of course.
Right.
And,
even if that day you would have missed your flight, it would have been worth it.
Totally. I agree. I couldn't tell that to Kaushik.
Right. But it would have been worth it.
Of course. Any day, hands down.
It was so great talking to you, ma'am.
Lovely
Truly,
talking
I mean,
to
I'm
you.
a foodie myself, and sitting next to a foodie and just chatting about food, believe me, that's one of the best things that I can get to do as a part of my job.
Thanks so
And
much.
it was truly a pleasure having you sit next to me and record this podcast.
Pleasure is mine. Trust me.
Likewise. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today,
you so
Ritika
much.
ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Keep listening to Ladies First on ABP Live podcast.